Hi, everybody. It's 1,344 days today. Let's see if you can hear me. Everything is working. Streaming to many platforms. And hold on. I have to. Okay. I'm blocking someone right now. You get to see me do it in live time. Confirm. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. I had to memorialize it before I did it. Um, and I think that is really important. It's 1,344 days, no sign of life. And at the very, very beginning, you know, uh, our family, I don't know about other families, but our family had no clue what to do in a situation like this. And because of Team Fine Richard Halliday, um, support, uh, right away support. One of the absolute invaluable, very valuable tips that we received was to memorialize everything. Memorialize everything. And that's why, really, the number one reason for these live streams um, is to memorialize everything. And of course, to get leads so that we can get justice for Richard. And it's become a little bit more than that, I have to say, because of so many of our soldiers being hurt and the assault on our military by the leadership in by the leadership in our agencies, including the military. We have 44 four-star generals. I don't know if there's that many. We shouldn't have that many. We only had 7 during World War II. Why do we have to have 44 four-star generals now? And they are up to no good, serving foreign and domestic enemies and not defending the Constitution. Because if they were defending the Constitution, we would not be in this situation. And people think that the military would have to march in or show force to win battles, but that's not true. They are they have asymmetric warfare tactics. They have asymmetric warfare tactics, which means that they are trained in diplomacy. They are trained in other tactics to win the battles besides being violent. And so, if they were truly defending the Constitution, we would not be in this situation because they would have leveraged their power in diplomacy and asymmetric warfare tactics to maintain justice in this country, and restrain the corruption that are in our agencies. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that a good military leader would do that, but they are not doing that. They are absolutely up to no good and serving foreign and domestic enemies of this country. And this is why we're in the situation that we're in, because there's no king that can last. There's no president that can last. You just can't without a military. And, every kingdom, every empire, every country has to have a defense. And we as Americans, we pay for the defense of many countries, which means we get to have a big say in who their leaders are. And to not understand that is to not understand politics. And that, we have known for a long time that we pay for the defense of other countries. And, people are like, why doesn't NATO pay up? Why don't they pay up? Because, we're getting something for the money. Um, uh, I don't agree with it. But the military, the politics involved in this, get to say who is the leadership in the other countries, because no country's leadership can last, can stay in power without a defense, without being protected, without a military. And so this is, who is giving that Ukraine guy's protection right now. See, that's why he comes begging for protection, for weapons. We need weapons. We need money. We need money. We need weapons. We need, all kinds of stuff. And so, because he cannot stay in power without it, and that is, when you wrap your head around that, you can really understand power. And you also understand that our military is up to no good. And we didn't really realize how bad it was until all of this happened with Richard, because Richard, absolutely, it's documented. And we have so much evidence that documents that Richard was a whistleblower. And we have evidence, hard evidence, testimony, that even from the director of emergency services, who was Thomas Kane, he was the chief of security of Fort Bliss, that said that Richard was was good food for the coyotes. That's what he said. He was good food, a good meal for the coyotes. So that is very, very hard to read, very hard to, as a mother, to the cold-bloodedness of a director of emergency services that is entrusted to the security of our volunteer sons and daughters, to speak that way. It's very, very difficult. So when you ask, how can she memorialize this every day with live streams? How can this mother do that? Now you know why. Because if we're depending on our 44 four-star generals, if we're depending on our director of emergency services, of our CID, of our FBI, of our DHS, our CBP, ATF is, Richard's case, when we met on Fort Bliss for Task Force Find Richard Halliday, there were 15 plus agencies there. A quick search, how many other cases, how many other criminals, how many other lost people, how many whatever high profile cases are out there that 15 plus agencies met in a task force, find Richard Halliday style. How many? I don't think you can find them. As some of the worst criminals only had 5 agencies meeting. Richard had over 15, which included ATF, which included Interpol, which included FBI, and we could go on and on. Department of State. So I think it's very, very important to understand that ATF was involved. They just don't come because they're kind. There's weapons involved in this. And the word we're getting is that the intelligence that we're getting is that weapons from Fort Bliss were used in the August 3rd, 2019 a Walmart mass shooting, along with, the possibility. I always want to say that. But these are the allegations that brown tip bullets were used in the murder of El Pasoans that came from, possibly, seemingly, those tactical move storage units full of ammunition on Fort Bliss. And so, this is memorializing every step of this investigation, because we're not hiding behind a fake identity. We're not hiding behind an imposter picture. We're not hiding. We come on every day, and we memorialize everything that we're doing in this case to get justice for Richard, justice for Glendon Oakley Jr., justice for Asia Graham, and so many more of our soldiers that have lost their lives because of failed leadership. Absolutely failed leadership. And, it's really disgusting because we give them everything. We give them everything, and we get back failed leadership. Now, of course, the failed leadership goes beyond the military, right? And we can look at Veronica Escobar, totally failed leader. Matter of fact, she needs to be arrested. And there's some really dirty stuff going on. There's just really, I can't even say it's up to no good. It's really filthy dirty that's going on in her case, and in her life. And she has a conflict of interest with Mario Raskin Ortiz. He's not an American citizen the last time we heard. And he was appointed by the El Paso commissioners, which she was presiding over as the commissioner's judge, to the chief medical examiner there for El Paso, which is illegal. And if it's illegal, it botches all the cases he has touched and is touching and will touch until he's removed from that office. Because the Constitution in Texas absolutely requires that anybody appointed to a judicial office needs to be an American citizen. 100%. And being a chief medical examiner, because they get to issue out subpoenas and warrants and testify as expert witnesses in cases over and over again. It is considered a judicial position, and almost $500,000 a year. So it is a position that is coveted by many. So we would like to know who also applied, and who did he take that job away from? Because clearly he was not at that time, and I don't think today, eligible for that job. He could have got some other little job. But what we're hearing is that he was double dipping. He was also being medical examiner over in Juarez, in Chihuahua, Mexico. And that's why the Semifo autopsy report, that's why the El Paso County autopsy report, was coming up that his name was on it. So I think this is really the amount of crime is really important for people to understand, not to get them depressed, but because we need to change things. Because if we think that they are going to change themselves by policing themselves, and they're crooked in so many ways, and they can take a young soldier and really manipulate them terribly so that they have to go along with the criminal activity that's on Fort Bliss. So I think that is really important. The other, of course, this live stream has the K-9 Melendez, Jesus Melendez. Melendez is an interesting person, and we've known for a long time he's an interesting person. Um, and, we'll tell you more. We'll tell you more as we confirm all the conflicts of interest. But he's up to no good. And the traffic stop, he says in the video, was because Richard was driving through, and this is the first time he said it, driving through the parking lot without his lights on. Well, if you watch the video, you can see that the parking lots are very, very well lit. So it would be very easy for a young person to get in the car and start driving away and then, realize, oh, yeah, it's night. It's darker over here than what it was in that parking lot, because the parking lot is very well funded as far as lighting goes, very well lit. And that is an important area anyway, because they've got their that is a law enforcement unit there. And so, and he never really talks about uh, Melendez. I'm talking about Melendez and the traffic stop and everything. It's just so ridiculous that, we're very happy to have this video because it really shows everything. And we'll, inch by inch, put out for you, because it has to be scrutinized. So we want to put it out, and we wish we could put it out right away. But everything has to be scrutinized and memorialized. And we're very, very glad that it happened in this case. So, yeah, it's because we're paying attention now, right? We're paying attention. I know the thought of memorializing all of this, the way we have, it can get so overwhelming. But we've done it. The other news about Melendez, you have to have a justifiable cause to stop someone, and when and even to do a sobriety test on them, or it seems like there's no breathalyzer. There seems to be no breathalyzer, that was all a lie. I don't know if Marlon Soto would lie to us about that. Would he lie to us about that? I don't know. I don't know. I just know that right now there's nothing there. So, okay, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will be back tomorrow. We've worked very, very hard behind the scenes with lots of letters again. And, it's all coming together. And of course, with this being Holy Week, which is amazing, please pray. Please pray really hard that all of our work will pay off. Will pay off. And we will get justice for Richard and make our country stronger, and get justice for Glendon Oakley Jr. and get justice for Asia Graham. So, and more and more. So thank you so much. Let's see if I have any comments. I didn't even check to see if I was on. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Praying for justice for Richard and your family. Thank you. Isn't a parking lot private property? How is an officer patrolling private? And he wasn't just any officer, he was a K-9. He was a K-9 cop with conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest. A K-9 cop patrolling a parking lot at midnight. No, that's fishy. Um, this was a setup. This was absolutely a setup. Uh, yeah, so it sounds like a wrongful pullover. Absolutely. And then they really didn't have a just cause. Look at Richard, just the first few minutes. He was just so beautiful, so awesome. Um, to even do a sobriety test because they were asking him, what was he doing? Oh, I want to sleep. I want to sleep. I think he was sleeping in the car because we never see, I guess the K-9 cop didn't have a body cam. I don't know. Maybe they haven't given it to us. So it's amazing that we got this because you understand um they've prevented us from so many things that would help us understand Richard's case and solve Richard's case and get justice for Richard and find our son. Because if it's well lit, you don't need lights. Exactly, and it was so well lit. Why are you stopping if you're a K-9 cop stopping a car? No, it doesn't make sense even if someone is going a little high speed in a parking lot. It doesn't matter. It because it's a private parking lot and so we're working on all of that. Um, I'm telling you, behind the scenes, lots of letters, and this was a very big deal. Hard to watch for us, but it was a very big deal because all of Richard's retaliation derived from this traffic stop. The permanent GOMAR, the Chapter 14, the field grade Article 15 with maximum punishment, taking away 3 ranks, 45 days of extra duty wearing full battle gear and the COVID diaper. Sorry, but it's just so bad for a young person. So bad for a young person with zero risk. And 50% of his pay, 50% of his pay, and for 2 months, they destroyed him totally professionally, and then they destroyed him uh, physically. Absolutely. So this was the basis for it. And this is what they were telling us at the 15 plus agency task force find Richard Halliday meeting that, you know, Richard had a DWI. Well, you know what? That was a false statement because on July 9th, 2020, it had been dismissed with a pretrial diversion. Dismissed with a pretrial diversion. And what that pretrial diversion does is give the judge a little cushion just in case her judgment is not right. So it's a delayed dismissal so that Richard could prove himself to be the stellar soldier that he was and is. That's, correct me where I'm wrong there, but that's how I understand all of this. So what were they going to do? Apologize to him? No, I think it was quite the opposite. I think they issued a code red. So that, why would they do that? Because he was reporting on their weapons trafficking, and there was an audit. There was an audit. We know that there was an audit because of Brigadier General Stewart telling us, because of Marlon Soto confirming what Brigadier Stewart told and expanding on it, saying it was the whole El Paso footprint. And of course, Sean Bernabe confirming it also. So, so we maintain that Richard's case came before the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart case, that the Walmart case was a diversion and it was also a political attack. And, clearly it was. And so we know that January 25th, 2020, there had already been months that went by, a long period of time, Boleyn said to the PI in a videotaped interview, that she hadn't really talked and communicated with Richard. She had a falling out because he called the CPS on her. So that puts Richard's whistleblowing into 2019. And there was more. Because the whole Cutter thing, he was telling us from Cutter it was so bad. He was telling my dad, it was so bad. And the things going on, the criminal activity. And so he reported the criminal activity. And it had to do with guns. It had to do with child pornography, and child care. So for sure, we have that for sure. So yeah, let me see what Danielle has to say, because your view isn't obstructed. Exactly. If breathalyzer is on the video, it didn't happen. Someone else probably blew in a breathalyzer and blamed Richard, in my opinion. Yes, and we have intelligence that said there isn't a breathalyzer. So we don't have anything in our records, unless it's there and I forgot about it or missed it. But in that video, there's no scene where he is blowing in a breathalyzer. If it isn't on the video during pullover, it wasn't Richard's breath, in my opinion. Exactly. So, and they, made him do all kinds of ridiculous things. And, our law enforcement friends have said, oh, you have to have probable cause to make them do that kind of stuff. You can't just be a bully. And this gives police, a bad rap, and that's not what we want today, right? Especially today. Today, we want to think about the New York police officer that unjustly was shot down at a traffic stop in New York. That is absolutely horrible. So that's what we need to be focusing on. But absolutely, there are some that are up to no good. It looks like Jesus Melendez and Miguel, I always forget his name. They're just up to no good, and they set Richard up. It was a frame job, and they have conflicts of interest. And we will reveal those as soon as we, all the letters that we're writing and everything, because there are bad actors out there. And all they want to do is sabotage this because um, they're implicated, or they know people that are going to be implicated, and everything is coming to light. And I think the connections with the Walmart case are undeniable. So, and the response from everything, they can type up anything. Yeah. Um, yeah, they can. And I think the video speaks thousands of words. And instead of just focusing on Richard, I'd ask to focus on, as we release the videos, um, one of the things that we saw right away is that the parking lots are so well lit. Yes, there are like a spotlight from the police. I think that was kind of intimidating a little bit, what they were doing to him. But still, that area, because we walked that area, Rob and I did, and we did a live stream in that area, and it is very, very well lit. And it's just a parking lot with a little street, a parking lot. It's very interesting area because there's a joint agency gang group there. Yeah, it is very well lit, very well protected. Yeah, I'm wondering what he was there, the K-9 cop, making a traffic stop in a parking lot at midnight. We have a lot of questions that need to be answered. So, but thank you so much. It's been a really busy day. And I just want to say thank you for taking your time out to come and watch this, and to lend your support, and to share and comment. It is really very, very powerful, more powerful than you know. And the one video, the one TikTok of the first picture that we released of Richard in the traffic stop has had over 9,000 views on TikTok, and we're being shadow banned. We are being reported all the time. I'm having to make appeals all the time. And I hate to even say that on the live, but it's the truth. And with you watching, commenting, sharing on different platforms, it's really, really powerful. And we need to do that to get justice for Richard. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow. Yep, God willing. Bye-bye.